cool cat.
Hey, and welcome to Nerd News Now for May 4th, 2020. Guys, May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with us all.
Jarek, are you doing a Star Trek sign?
I am.
He's doing a Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Hey!
So how do you guys celebrate May the 4th? Miss Jen?
I make a post that says, "May the 4th be with you."
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much mandatory.
She strokes the kitty cat like a Bond villain.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us your evil plan.
And, Jarek, what about you?
I plot to overthrow the current, political regime, and then also portray my best friend / brother in a climactic duel to the death in a volcano, which I usually end up losing most of the time because I overestimate my power. Might have something to do with the high grounds. I have no idea, but that might be it.
Is that all in one day or what?
Yeah, it's all in one day. Usually it's within like I think it's a 10-day window, so it usually starts 10 days from now. And it usually, ultimately comes to this point. So if you haven't gotten the order yet, Mark, don't worry. It's not that you haven't gotten it. It hasn't gotten to you yet.
Okay. Got it. Hey, Chaz, what about you?
Usually, I'll just sit around all day and I'll watch all the Star Wars movies in the order that I see fit. But today I didn't get to do that. We had to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of filming today, so no Star Wars stuff. But I'll get to do Star Wars things tomorrow for Revenge of the 5th.
There you go. So what is your correct order of watching the movies?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I got to do the original trilogy first. And then, actually, okay, I'll go by the last time. The last time I did it, I just did it in complete order. So I went from episode 1 with all, there was Rogue One in there, and then I just went down the thing. But usually it's the original trilogy, and then Revenge of the Sith is right after that, just because it's so awesome.
Yeah. Mm.
So,
such a good one. How about you, Mark? How do you celebrate, May the 4th?
Well, I don't really.
Oh.
No, there's all kinds of stuff going on. We'll get to that in a second. The way I like to watch the stuff, though, is first with Trouble with Tribbles. So you have the birth of the Ewoks, and then straight to Return of the Jedi, and just
there you go.
Yeah. Now, Chaz, so tell us about Revenge of the 5th, because I know you're doing online trivia right now. So what all does that entail? Is that something that we should be intimidated by? Because I feel like when it comes to Star Wars trivia, there's going to be people who are like eons ahead.
I'll tell you what, so trivia starts tomorrow. I always do a Star Wars trivia. I've done it every year for a lot of years now. But so I make it fun because there are Star Wars trivias out there that are just like for the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that if you've seen the movies at least, you can get a couple of points. At the very end of it, I do a wager round, so you can have like 10 points and still wager and maybe come out and win some stuff. So tomorrow, I don't know what it's going to be because I make all my trivias the day of, but The Adventure Begins is hosting it. So therefore, hit up my Twitch page, which is going to be, go to Twitch and then the RNR, rock and roll, the RNR nerd. And you register at 7:30, and I have a scorekeeper, so you get your scorecard and all that jazz. Starts at 8 o'clock. We're going to have like just regular rounds, which is question and answer, as far as me verbally asking the question. And then I believe I may put in a video round. There's going to be an audio round. Last year, The Adventure Begins, the audio round had Chewbacca karaoke.
It was amazing.
Chewbacca was at a karaoke bar singing the songs, and you had to name the song and the artist. Jarek suggested let's do it again, so tomorrow I'm going to record all the stuff tomorrow.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Last year it was pretty fun. So that's what happened, man. You don't have to be a hardcore fan, and it should be a lot of fun.
Should.
It usually is, because I usually host trivia on Wednesday nights on my Twitch channel. That's general knowledge pop culture trivia, so it's going to be the same format if anybody has ever before. So it'd be cool, man.
So which original trilogy is it going to be this time? It's going to be like, the remaster, the original how it was cut. I mean,
So
if you ask a question like who shot first?
Anytime I do trivia, I try to make it fun for everybody. We just hang out and have fun. I forget they're super hardcore fans every single time. So if I ask a question, it's like, what movie is it from? Is it from the original? Is it from the remake? And I'm like, half the time it's like, does it really matter? But apparently it does. Here's my thing. Harry Potter trivia people are really anal about things. They're like, you didn't say that right. Bah, we'll set your car on fire. Star Wars fans are a lot of fun, but they're more whiny. If you get it wrong, they're like, well, it's not. And they're more confrontational during trivia. I'm just saying during trivia. I don't know. If somebody has usually I ask a question. If there's multiple answers, we'll give it to you because it's trivia. You're supposed to have fun. So I don't know what the questions are yet. You know what? Show up tomorrow at 7:30 and find out.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah, there we go. Well, they did. Disney Plus in particular had a big day going. They released Rise of Skywalker, so that is streaming now. And then they have the Mandalorian documentary series. So basically, behind the scenes for each episode of the 8 episodes in season 1, and then the Clone Wars, which no one I know watches or is caught up.
It's so good though. The Clone Wars.
Who do you not know watches this show? Mark, you are one of the biggest nerds I know, and I say that obviously we're all nerds. But how do you not know somebody that's not watching the Clone Wars right now?
Because a lot of people got bogged down in it because it was gone for a while and there's 7 seasons built up, and then also the movie is really, really bad. So if that was anyone's first foray into the animated Clone Wars, a lot of people stopped.
Still, I mean, you got the true hardcore fans who are watching it, man.
Yeah.
I feel as though you say, I don't know anybody who's watching it. You're just like me. I have no nerdy friends at all.
I've got them. It's just that I guess they're very particular and about like they cannot get past how bad the movie was.
No. There's a cool scene in the last episode in which like Ahsoka is on the bridge of her starship and she's traveling, right? And she hears this really cool Force like vision type thing in which it's the scene where Anakin kills Mace Windu with Darth Sidious. And it's like this really cool, awesome scene because it's tying into the Revenge. Oh man, it's such a good season.
Yeah, hold on. Mark, have you seen all of it yet? Have you finished it?
No.
No, you haven't. So therefore, spoilers. Jarek, I know where you're going because actually it'll spoil a little bit, but the end of it ties into the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like even the last like 2 or 3 episodes, the Siege of Mandalore is just so awesome. Oh man, Mark, you need to get on this.
Anybody watching it because you haven't watched it yourself, Mark.
Well, yeah, Mark. That's when I said that I meant I gave up after the movie. That's what I meant.
No, you watched the movie.
I was feeling bad for you until then.
Yeah, no, it's get past the movie.
Okay.
So in the future, Jarek and I will be talking about Clone Wars.
Now it's just too much. Miss Jen, besides being able to post an annual GIF about it, what does Star Wars mean to you?
Star Wars? Oh gosh, Star Wars is everything. I mean, I'll tell you guys a fun story. When I was in Chicago while my husband was going to business school, that was when episode 1 came out. And I just sold my store in Midland and moved to Chicago. And before, I used to always host, I'd go to the local movie theater and say, okay, I want to buy out an entire theater. This is before people really did that stuff. And I want to sell the tickets to my group through my store. But I want to do that so that I can have costume contests before and trivia and just do all this crazy stuff. For the re-releases of the movies, when did that happen? In 95, 96 or 97? I sold out 3 movie theaters to watch those all together at the same time because they had set aside one, but I sold so many tickets they had to just take the one copy they had and run it between movie theaters to go across the room.
Really?
But when I moved to Chicago, I didn't really know anybody and I didn't have a store, but I still wanted to do it. So I went and offered at the movie theater that was close to me. I was like, hey man, can I run promotions for episode 1? So I spent like 4 weeks going every day, and this was when people waited in line for 2 weeks to get tickets, and then went right back to the same line to wait 2 weeks to get a good seat.
Yeah.
And I ended up I was going around to all the local businesses and asking them for like flyers to give away and merch for trivia. And I just happened to walk into Barnes and Noble, and they're like, hey, the manager for Ray Park wants to have him sign here, but they want to have their own merchandise and have him sign his own merchandise, and we can't allow that. Do you guys want Ray Park? I was like, I'm just thinking to myself, I am nobody. I'm nobody. I'm walking off the street. They're like, here's Ray Park's manager's number. And so I had him come sign at our showings.
That's so awesome. Cool, though.
Oh, that's super cool. Oh,
I mean, I have last year, Bill sent me to the Austin Comic Con. And looking back on it now, everybody else got to go out to all these awesome cons, and I get to go to the Austin Comic Con. But one of the coolest things was, you have the guest alley or whatever. Everything was so close. But there was like the original Red Ranger from Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. There was Razor Ramon and Diesel, and it was funny because all the guests had like no line whatsoever. But there's this huge line, and it's Ray Park. Mm-hmm. So I stood in line, and I got the signature, and he was like, "You want to take a picture?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." And I was like, "But I don't want. I don't have $20 to spare." And he was like, "No, it's cool." He was super, super cool. Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm sure he was just as cool at your place as well, yeah?
Oh, yeah, this is before. So he told me that he had gotten the part for Toad for X-Men, but it was like a secret on the download thing that I knew for a while until the movie came out. And I was like, I know that dude. That's dreadful.
And I'm going to tell you what. Last night I watched Dark Phoenix for the first time, and I'm super huge into nerd movies and all that jazz. So every time I see Storm in any movie, especially last night because it's in my mental, every time I see Storm, I think of that god awful line, god awful, and I'm like, whoever wrote that line, it should be chuffed because it's in the movie, but it's so horrible. It's probably one of the worst lines in cinema history. Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? Just like everything else. I'm like, get out of here. That's so bad. Anyway, so I'm glad you brought it up so I can just, vent my frustrations with that.
It's such a bad line.
It's bad. Even in the comics, if I see Storm, it just runs through my brain real quick, and I'm like, whoever wrote that, you ruined Storm for me for the rest of my life.
Just think of the poor writer that had to witness a toad getting struck by lightning live to be able to be inspired to write that line.
You know what it was? Like there's
that, when he saw it on screen, he was like, "That's me." That's so great. And all his friends around him were yes men going, "Yeah, man, that was you, dude. That's so good." And if I come walk down the street going, "Is that you?" My Harry Potter.
Jarek, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, some poor second year writer, he was lucky enough to get in this round table. Is like, yeah, we got Toad and Storm right. Well, it kind of totally reminds me of this one time I was actually down on in the bayou and this happened, man. Gotta throw it in there. It's like, but you're right. Someone was like, yeah, you have to throw it in there. It's a great line, and it just isn't. Ugh.
No, I don't see it. Not that way. I see it that they put it in the script and somebody just kind of scanned over it, and then it happened. He was like, "Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I got it."
What if it's like one of those you see them on quizzes and essays where it's, yeah, you're definitely not reading this essay right now. I'm gonna write whatever the hell I want. You know what happens to a toad who gets struck by lightning? Like, yeah, it's a great script. They're X-Men. Go for it. Give me all the X-Men.
Yeah. And Jarek, back to you real quick. How many of the Star Wars movies have you seen or not seen, if that's easier, in theaters?
I've seen every one of them except the original trilogy. Just because I have not been able to catch up.
Are you serious?
I've not been able to get the original I don't think I've been able to see the original trilogy in theaters, but I've seen every other film in theaters multiple times.
In theaters.
I know. Yeah. But I have seen every film too many times. I grew up on the original series. It's just such a good story and movie series. So
a couple of years ago when we were on tour, this cat, we were doing some interview and Star Wars came up. So this guy, he comes to one of the shows and he hands me a jump drive. He was like, hey, this is like the original uncut, blah, 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 whatever, from way back in the day, like the original theatrical release with all the stuff. And I remember seeing, I want to say I remember seeing it because I've been, watching Star Wars since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I have that jump drive, which is really cool, without all the, the glitz and the glamour and how, and I watch it from time to time.
yeah.
So if you ever want to see it, man, let me know.
Have you guys heard about the Topher Grace cut of the original of the prequel trilogy?
No.
No, so he's a huge Star Wars fan, and so he did as a personal project. He went through and edited together the three prequel movies into one longer form film that's a lot more cohesive and does a lot more to kind of reinforce kind of Anakin's whole I'm going to the dark side kind of story. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't been able to sit down and watch the full thing. In the full order, but it is really good. And it's one where if you can find a copy of it, it is totally.
If you
good.
haven't seen the whole thing, how do you know it's really good?
Because you can see the full cuts. It's like, man, Topher Grace is a genius, dude.
I'm messing with you.
I know you are.
It's like looking at a comic book cover. Like, this is a really good
This is a
comic.
great book, man.
It's so good.
Hey, man,
Look,
Transformers vs. Terminator, dude, a great comic.
And Miss Jen, have you seen every single Star Wars movie in the theater?
Oh yes, absolutely. What do you have? What is it? Oh,
It's Transformers and Terminator. Like I said, it's really good.
Oh yeah.
It's like just because the cover.
Oh, that one's really good.
Yeah.
And you're welcome, by the way.
Yeah.
About the last copy we had.
Yeah.
I remember reading that for review and thinking, I have so totally underordered this book. Oh my gosh, it's so
Yeah.
good.
It's like, it was one where we're just sitting there walking around and Chaz is going through the list of new things. I think it was for the show, actually. And you're like, yeah, Transformers, Terminator. And I'm like, you need to put that in my box.
Yeah, because we do the show on Monday, and I have the list for comics that are coming out that Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we only had 3 in, so I knew Danny was getting one. Danny is one of our Transformer employees.
He's also a robot.
Yeah, he's definitely a robot. But when it came in, I was like, dude, I've got to get this because I'm a Terminator fan. So we had one more left. And I was like, yo, Jarek, check this out. So all the employees bought it up, and everybody's like, hey, man, coming in, you got the Terminator book? Now we're sold out, sorry. Go to space. That's our usual line. If we're sold out of something, because we only order a small amount. If we're sold out of something, we're like, go to Space Cadets. And then you send them to wherever you send them.
Yeah.
Hey,
I usually have it. So.
1, 2, 3, go.
Speaking of other pop culture entities, does anything else deserve its own day? Or is Star Wars just going to always stand alone like that?
I kind of wonder why there's not a Star Trek Day, because it has just as long of line of really amazing TV shows, movies, etc.
Yeah.
I mean,
There is Jean-Luc Picard Day, just so you know. Ties back into TNG when in the episode Captain Jean-Luc Picard has a day on the ship in which the kids make crafts of him and the ship, and he has to choose the top 3 and then also best top 3 runners up. That actually is a day on the calendar, so you're welcome.
If you're gonna do a Star Trek Day, I'm all for Star Trek Day. I'm not a total fan of Star Trek, but I know it's got its fandom. But if you have a Star Trek Day, you have to make it super fun and exciting, because if it's anything like the original motion pictures, I'm done. It's boring.
One time I was watching the original motion picture, and I was bored out of my mind.
Sleep.
And then I realized that I was just watching C-SPAN. So then I turned it to the actual movie, and that same scene came up, and then I just turned it back to C-SPAN.
Yeah.
Well, I was such a nerd. Back in the day or whatever, we got the Star Trek original motion picture, the first one. and it was like, okay, the original crew is back together, and then like they're going down this elevator, and it's like, oh, here's the the Enterprise, and it was like a 10-minute shot of just angle after angle of them coming down the elevator, and just how cool and big the Enterprise is, and I was like, when is there going to be something other than talking in this movie?
No, no.
Star Trek Day. I mean, cool. Make it exciting. Bring some cupcakes or something.
Cupcakes and balloons. Do the Adventure Begins special.
I want to
honestly,
have
like
Tribbles ball pit.
Ooh, yes,
That would be cool.
we're planning this. This is happening.
Hire Jen to host this. I'll go down. If you're hosting it, I'll totally come.
I'm there.
We could do it as a multi-store event.
There we go. Hey.
But who's gonna have to wear the? But who will wear the red shirts though?
Depends. Are we talking about
all the
TOS or
all the
TNG?
part-time employees?
There we go.
All the
There was-
part-time employees.
There was actually an article that broke down all the deaths on the original Star Trek series, and you had a higher percentage of a chance of living if you were a red shirt.
Yeah.
Because there were so many more of them and they were so expendable, but percentage-wise, you had a better chance of survival than if you were a blue shirt or a yellow shirt. Yellow shirt has a smaller chance.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Well, when you're a tactical officer, you gotta do that. You're wearing the yellow. You're wearing the yellow. You mean you're pretty
Right.
important, but like blue in science, well, if you're ever in the field, you deserve to get shot. Let's be real. But red shirts, man, come on, they have one job: to go out there and make sure Kirk can punch or sleep his way through the alien enemies. All right, it's all it is. It's your one job as a red shirt. Also, I think like 90% of the women on the original Enterprise, the main reasons you're on that ship is you're an attractive Starfleet officer. I swear, there's two.
and you're all hanging out with.
Yeah.
I find it funny when you go to the conventions and stuff, and you're like, so and so, a red shirt from Star Trek, and you're like, right on.
Nice,
But
dude.
I have to tip my hat though, because usually if you put Star Trek under anybody who's been on, especially the original show, red shirt or not, I mean, there's a fucking line. There's a fan.
Yeah.
Excuse my French, but there's a fan. Usually there's a longer line for a red shirt nobody from Star Trek, the original series, than there is for the Red Ranger. And that happened in Austin. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There should be a Star Trek Day. I'm surprised there's not. There's a lot that they could be doing with this, but no one is.
Said Phaser's fun because here on May 7th, we're going to have a bloody good time, right?
May
They
6th,
actually
do it right after the 5th.
They actually have the Star Trek convention in Vegas every year, which
Yeah,
would
they
be
do.
good to go to. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, they do.
that would be awesome. There's
Yeah.
actually
Mark, tell us how fun that is when you come back.
there is actually Star Wars news today. New
there is.
live action movie, and it's going to be directed by Taika Waititi. So that is exciting.
Yeah. Taika Waititi is going to save the Star Wars universe, at least the cinematic universe.
Yeah. So.
I'm kind of intrigued because it's going to be, it's Taika Waititi behind the camera, which he's shown he can do. But it's also going to have, trying to put the Taika Waititi spin and like allure and just style into the Star Wars universe is going to make this a really interesting film. Because, man, that man has a style, and it is very apparent.
Well, he did one of the was it episode 7 of Mandalorian? He did one of the later episodes of Mandalorian, and it wasn't over the top quirky or anything. So
No.
I think it'll be good. I mean, I think he'll stay within that whatever tone they choose, because now it's going to be wide open. No one knows what the story's going to be or what's going to happen, and it's actually going to be co-written by him and Christy Wilson Cairns, who wrote 1917. So it could be like an adventure epic. So that'll be at the very least, that's going to be an awesome script. But no date set for that. They announced a couple other things. They're going to do a big Lego 9 movie game of the Lego Skywalker saga. All 9 movies, hundreds of characters. And then Hallmark released a bunch of exclusive stuff today. Don't really think of that normally, but I guess they get started on these ornaments very early. But there's a Baby Yoda ornament, which is sure to be like the ornament of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And plus their new card with Father's Day's coming up. I am your father. By the way, real quick, we've got Acid TX Ung. So Acid Tongue. They also fell asleep during the Star Trek movie. That's in the comments there. Just wanted to point that out. Thank you very much for watching and commenting, please. So, yeah, back to Hallmark.
I'm surprised Hallmark is still around, honestly. I'll be flat out honest with this. How is this company still around? Yeah.
It's talking about Mother's Day is number one. That's the real reason they're around. And that's coming up May 10th, so make sure you get your mom's all the good things. Because if not, she'll kick you in the shins, my friend.
She's done it before. She'll do it again.
You don't want mom's shin kicks, dude. Because you're not Street Fighter. You can't like block those.
My mom used to just reach into the back seat and pinch our legs.
Yeah.
Keep us in line.
My mom was pretty cool. Like she never did the okay when we're gonna turn this car around. She never did that. It was my pops who was like, he would just look back and be like, do it one more time. You're like, yeah, okay, cool. We're fine. We're good.
Your dad just in there just verbally, like visually giving you the say what again line. Let's be real.
Yeah, the thing is, so I've seen a lot of dads and moms too who will do that look where you like, do it one more time. And of course the kids keep pushing because they know. My pop was, do it one more time. You're like, oh, no. We're good.
You didn't want to find out what the do it one more time would get you.
We already knew what that meant. Yeah. So we're good, man. We're good. So, but to all the moms coming, May 10th, Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. All the kitty cat moms as well.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah. Jarek, you're a kitty cat mom. Do you?
I don't know how to take this, but all right, thanks.
What? Are you not caring for that kitty cat?
No.
Are you not mothering that kitty cat? Well,
No.
it was up in your lap beforehand.
Yo, it's because she loves me, but I'm her mother.
Exactly. No, yeah. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, no problem. I was just thinking, you know how my parents would dole out punishment by saying, Mark, if you do that one more time, we're not going to let you go to the Hallmark store. Hey, so let's move from the space of Star Wars to outer space. Tom Cruise, along with Elon Musk and NASA, he wants to shoot an actual scripted movie in space. So do you think this is A, a good idea, B, a bad idea, or C, who cares? Because don't we have the special effects now that you can just mimic that?
You can also get a plane really high up in the air and then drop it down really fast and give it 0G, and it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll look at it like this, like so from like a music standpoint or whatever. Like I've got a lot of friends who are like into death metal, like yeah. But you have like the father of death metal, which is Cannibal Corpse, right? You're like, okay, cool, man. You kind of founded the whole thing, and I like a couple of the songs, but everything that came after that was just like, okay, you sound like Cannibal Corpse. Yeah. Same thing with this. Do it, try it out, man. It's really interesting. I would like to see what that looks like in space, but I don't think it's going to work out all that great. But you're going to be the father of space movies. So I think anything that comes after that is going to resemble the first one so much that it's just like, all right, cool. Yeah. Not a big deal. Unless you've got like real alien attack. And it's just like, yo, we're introducing like Zarklock. And it's it's totally real.
The government did just declassify alien UFO evidence. So, who knows, man? Who knows?
Exactly. So, yeah, go into space. Like, introduce me to something that I haven't seen already. Yeah. But the first one is going to be cool because, cool, man, you got space and all that jazz. But we're doing it so much better here on Earth. I'm not going for round number 2. So, that's just my thought on it.
Can you imagine the budget for such a thing?
That's what that's what I'm mainly thinking about. Like, what's the point? I guess just to do it, right?
And not even this. What happens if you shoot the whole crew, right?
Yeah.
You can't do it on one shuttle. You're gonna have to do it on 2 or 3.
At
And
least.
by percentage wise, say it's 3. One of those shuttles, you're gone. Percentage wise, look at history. Well, you're not gonna make it either in or out. So Cruise in memoriam for Tom Cruise. We'll take a thing.
We'll pour one out for our lost homie, and then we'll go watch, Live, Die, Repeat instead. We'll all be fine. I don't know. I think Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
There you go. So like, I think Tom Cruise has enough Scientology money he can throw at this to make it work. I mean, he did it with Mission Impossible. So some kind of weird space movie isn't going to be anywhere outside of his reach. Let's be real. But I kind of agree. It's going to be something super. It has to be something super interesting. Something I can't see right now by just going onto YouTube and typing space movies and see what some fan made thing has been made. It needs to be unique, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
I have 2 things on that. Number one, if Tom Cruise is going to star in said space movie, he's not going to the space. He's going to do a body double up there. Number one, period. That's happening. And number 2, it's not going to be pure space. They're going to come back with footage, and then they're going to Photoshop or they're going to Studio X the whole thing anyway. They're going to heighten it up. They're going to brighten it, and animation on top of that. I mean, they're taking in-game. Or in the Marvel series, you're taking Michelle Pfeiffer and you're taking Robert Downey Jr. from old cats to super young. You're telling me if you're saying, hey, we're going out to outer space? No. Number one, I don't believe it anyway. I believe we've been there, but you're not taking a whole film crew out there to do a movie from outer space. It's a cool idea. I would totally watch it if it was legit, but you're going to come back, you're going to doctor it up, and Tom Cruise is not going into space. I'm sorry, man. He couldn't make it work with Nicole Kidman. Why is he making it work with Mars?
Nice.
Miss Jen, the next bit of movie news is for you. We actually talked about this movie last week or a week or 2 ago when you and I and Jerick were talking about action films. Demolition Man 2 in space. Just kidding, not the space part. But Demolition Man 2 is happening. What do you think about that? The first one was in 1993.
I've been actually wondering when they were going to get with it. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, because the original was in 1993 and it took place in 2032?
Mm-hmm.
So by the time this one, let's say it's 2022, what year do you think they're going to do? Is it going to be like, I mean, obviously he is aged a lot. And
2054.
You think so?
I don't know. However many years it's been.
Or maybe
2064.
Maybe they'll shoot it in 2032 and have it be based in 1993.
No, they're gonna at least shoot it in 1488, pixels, so it looks clear. But it's gonna be set in. This is a bad joke. Just keep moving. Just forget I mean it.
1080p. It's gonna be 1080p. We can keep going on this.
No, I'm just gonna stop now. I've already hate myself for this joke. This whole bit I was trying to do. We're done.
Now,
so is Sandra gonna be like the police chief now?
No idea. I hope so. No, I mean
natural progression, I guess.
There's no details on this except for he went on Instagram and said, "Yeah, that's still happening." So I mean,
with Bullock, you know how they're like making all the actors and actresses look younger. With her, they'll make her look super old because she looks. I mean, as good as she. I mean, now as good as she did in that movie. Mm-hmm. So you would have to make her. I mean, like you'd have to digitally make her look old. It looks like, well, let's see, 2030, is that right? 2032? That's not right.
That's when it took place.
Right. Well, Stallone, he confirmed, he was like, yeah, he was like, yo, get together, and do it lazy,
Since we're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's actually from the movie.
Yeah, it is.
That's from the movie set.
Oh,
set. Who wore it?
Probably just an extra.
Red shirt number 37.
That's right.
Sure, yeah.
Oh. You have DNA from an extra who's been on Demolition Man.
Wrapping up the movie news section, does anyone care about New Mutants? Anyone?
No,
Not really.
No.
No. Okay. Like they
I'm
put it up.
surprised it's still in production or in post production, whatever it's in phase now. I'm surprised it's still going on.
Well, that's the thing is they threw it up on Amazon Prime for pre-order, and it was going to be like $27 for a digital download. They didn't have any date with it. They just put it on there, and now they took it off. So no one like just release it on Hulu at 2 a.m. some random night.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like watching, I don't remember. I've seen the trailer several times, especially in the theaters. Seeing the trailer, it looks more like a horror movie than anything, and I love horror movies. So when it came out, the first time I saw it, I was like, "What is this? This is kind of cool." A whole bunch of crazy cats and straight jackets and whatnot. It was like New Mutants, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" And then they got so much flack from that, they redid the trailer, and they were like, "Oh, here's some mutant powers," like for 2 seconds, and then you're like, "That's still not no." Release that movie. Like, take out the mutant aspect, release that movie as like a horror movie. Maybe it'll do better because it's not New Mutants whatsoever. And nobody wants this movie at all. As far as the trailer goes, nobody wants it. I don't know anybody who wants it. And, yeah, dude, I mean, this is, and I've said it before, there's few movies that's come out where I'm like, I'll wait, like Bloodshot. I'll wait to go streaming and I can watch it at home by myself or whatever because I'm not a Bloodshot fan or whatever. Bloodshot surprised me. Surprised us all, I think. At least Jarek and I. And it was great. I bought it. $20 and I've watched it a couple of times. It is super great. It's even greater because Jarek dances to the song and counter space. Yeah. Not even that. But New Mutants hasn't. I know New Mutants. I didn't know Bloodshot. Mm-hmm. New Mutants I know, and there's no connection with me whatsoever. Kill it. Done.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
Name it. Do a horror thing. Let's do New Mutants in one of the phases for MCU. And
yeah, so I think that's that then for movies. Now I'm going to toss it to Jarek, who's got some TV news for all you cool cats and kittens.
Yeah, so this surprised me when I got this news earlier this evening. But I died, apparently. All right, this is how this news started. I died, and somehow I found myself awake in crossover heaven when I found out from Marky Mark Blair himself, ya boy, the main man himself, Nicolas Cage, is Joe Exotic in the scripted 8-episode Tiger King, series, and I am excited for this.
Really?
I think and I think he is the one true God, please and always. Praise him. And it's going to be great. I think we're going to finally wonder and figure out, will Nick Cage financially recover from this? I'm excited. I don't know. I think it's going to be a great casting.
Well,
I love Nick Cage.
I honestly think we should start with Jarek because he's so excited about this. To you guys and then me, and then we'll all just talk about it real quick. I'll be the last one to talk about this one.
Yeah.
Please.
Miss Jen, do you care about a Tiger King scripted series?
I mean, you can't really do it any other way because Joe's kind of in prison. So I guess this is the way you keep that Tiger money rolling.
Yeah.
And I love me some Nick Cage too, so.
Netflix is running off Tiger's blood right now. Now all we need is Donna's DNA, and we got, Charlie Sheen running Netflix. Wait.
And what's confusing about this to people is there was already a series announced, and Kate McKinnon is attached to play Carol Baskin. Unfortunately,
in the first one.
This is not the same series.
No, there's two different series right now going on.
If it was Kate McKinnon and Nick Cage, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Well, who's to say that's not going to happen? I mean, you've got different ones. But again, you guys should talk about this first before I do, because I'm about to chomp at the bits, my friend. So accolade this show all you want.
Hold on. Let me put some sardine oil on this topic and go. Go for it.
What you guys are talking about?
That was the news part. Yeah.
Mark has no opinion, apparently.
Yeah, obviously. So here we go, man. Tiger King. I dig Tiger King because it was one of those shows like Game of Thrones or Seinfeld where actually not Seinfeld, but streaming wise, it was like Game of Thrones where you could go to the water cooler, talk about it, because everybody, usually these shows, everybody's not watching it at the same time. Game of Thrones, you did. Tiger King, everybody watched it the same couple of days, right? But there's such a cast of characters that you can't make up, and these are real people.
Yeah.
They're like, well, let's monopolize on this. Let's make a movie. That movie's not going to do as good as the actual documentary. Half of the people are probably not going to watch it. You had me at Kate McKinnon for number one. Number two, Nick Cage. I'm a co-owner of Legion M. We have worked with Nick Cage. Nick Cage has done like Mandy, Legion M movie Mandy. He goes full total Nick Cage, and it is brilliant. I don't see him going full total Nick Cage in Tiger King. I think this is a money grab. I honestly do, and I'm not sold on it. You put it out, I'm not going to be one of those cats in the first week or 2 or 3 or 6 who's going to watch the remake of a documentary. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go too far into it that I thought I was going to, but yeah. Why? It's a money grab is what it is.
Oh, totally.
I respect the people who are trying to grab the monies, but you have the documentary come out. A week later, that's when you do the movie. You should already had it planned and shot. And so much time has passed, nobody cares about Tiger King anymore. To the point where at Quarantine Con, we had one of the members from Tiger King do our promos, which was up. But the day of the con, the weekend of the con, nobody went to her booth. And not even that, she bailed out after day one because nobody cared. So, yeah. It's a cash grab. It'll be something that I watch when I'm super bored. Tiger King is over. As Fergie said, you're 2000 late, my friend.
Ooh.
Oh, son!
Ouch, there it is! Hot take!
It also seems like it's already being oversaturated with 2 series in the works. I mean, like, they're not going to be any different from each other.
It's not, but I mean, okay. So if you present me with 2 series, you got Kate McKinnon, you got Nick Cage. I like Nick Cage; he's fun, but he's a movie cat. And by the way, if he does this, if it's greenlit, and it goes to Netflix or whatever it is, this will be Nick Cage's very first TV series, ongoing series. I mean, he's made appearances or whatever, but this will be his very first one. But if I had a choice between the 2, give me Kate McKinnon, because at least I know I'm good. Nick Cage, I gotta do all my boyfriends, and guess what? Your thing is a national treasure. Yeah, whatever. Give me Kate McKinnon. At least I'll get some fun. And you're welcome. I see myself 10 seconds after on the thing. Welcome. We got people commenting on that. You're good. Thank you so much.
It was pretty good.
Got Nick Cage. Yeah, I did. Just for the people watching and commenting, by the way. Okay, and done.
That's it. That's Tiger King news. On to the next segment. Mark?
Well, just real quick, I don't think any of us watch the Arrowverse anymore on CW, but...
Wait, hold on. Now, are you talking about just the show, or are you talking about all
the shows, all of them?
I do. Thank you very much. I watch The Flash. I watch Supergirl. Those are my 2 shows, man. Like, I watch those shows like my grandmother watched General Hospital. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I'm not really big on Legion. What? No. I'm not really big on Green Arrow or the other one, League. And I'm not watching Batwoman. But I am watching Supergirl and Flash. So anyway, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, on Batwoman, speaking of Batwoman, Hush was on there. and he looks cool. Comic accurate costume. So
Yeah, but you know they're taking him out.
Yeah.
They're taking him out.
We
On the
told
show?
Hush to hush.
or just in awe.
Well, no, he was on the show, but Dr. Tommy Elliott, introduced in Batwoman earlier, will not fully appear as the bandaged villain in Hush. So I don't know if that means they're gonna do like a Hush series crossover or whatever they're doing, but apparently they're taking him out as of today.
Wow.
He actually left.
That's it.
He actually left to go star in a third Tiger King series with Kraven the Hunter. That's what happened.
Ooh, there we go.
Hey, so new comics are. It's
And
just
the only way you can get out of your grave if you have a full set of teeth.
There you go. Hey.
Miss Jen, new comics this week. Is it still DC only?
Yes.
Still DC only, and then whatever indies that I brought in. By the way, I was talking to one of the publishers about a variant cover for a book that I wanted. Sometimes I just pick books because of the name is just awesome. Which of you guys would buy a book called Murder Hobo?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So I'm talking to the publisher, and I'm like, you know what? This book seems like a really good thing because I want to do a variant for it. So he sent me an image. And I don't think he looked at the image because I pointed out that there was an object d'amour in the image itself that he was like, wait, what? I was like, this would be perfect if it didn't have this. And so he didn't know it was there. And it's like the most prominent thing in the image. So it's just like, okay, well, sometimes you're glad that you're the one paying attention, that you don't have this book come out with this giant object.
Rises higher than the Washington Monument, if you know what I mean.
That's all. I do want to say, like, this week, I mean, DC has stepped up, and because, you know, Marvel's not, I'm sorry, not Marvel, but Diamond is not distributing anything. We are getting new comic books for those of you who are listening, at least to The Adventure Begins. I know Space Cadets is getting a whole bunch of cool stuff from indies and all that jazz, but I'll name the regular books. Joker Harley #4. I love this series, by the way.
Series.
It is so good. DC Black is doing so many good things. I'm glad we're getting this book. We've also got Hawkman coming out this week. DC Superstar #17 is the reprint. It's the first appearance of Huntress and the Green Arrow origin. So it's similarly Green Lantern Season 2. The new book of that's coming out. Batman and the Outsiders, The New Flash, and House of Whispers. Those are the books that are coming into The Adventure Begins, and I'm sure Space Cadets and Jen, I know you got some new books coming out. Was through some independents, man. Throw those out there.
I don't know all the names of them because I was trying to process them today, but it actually was busy enough that I didn't get to go through them. I've got so much inbound that I don't know what's in what box.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I wish I had more news for you, but I got restocked on some really awesome ones that we've sold out now. This will be our third sellout if we sell out this week. One's called Harriet Tubman Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautifully made book.
Very
and then
cool.
another series called The Crossing, which is about a guy who he's a train engineer and ends up running over a girl who's standing on the tracks. And then she haunts him. And it's an unraveling of this mystery about what's going on.
Now, is this based on the game Trial by Trolley by chance? Because I love that game.
It's a great game.
I'm totally kidding, but we do have that Trial by Trolley, which Jarek introduced me to.
It's
and
fantastic.
I introduced to my grandparents. Now, I've introduced my grandparents to Exploding Kittens, which my grandmother calls it, do you have that kitten game? And I'm like, oh, you mean Exploding Kitten? She's like, no, the kitten game. I'm like, yeah, Grandma, gotcha. But Jarek introduced me to Trial by Trolley, which sounds like this book that you have, but apparently they're not related, and that's totally cool. Not a big deal. But you can totally get all of these at Space Cadets and The Adventure Begins. We got some new stuff. That means Mark has to leave his house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Umbrella and a face mask to come to one of our stores to get his stuff, whether it's curbside, online, or in person.
Nah, Mark strikes me as the kind of person who's buy it in Comixology and just read it digitally.
No, yeah, he comes to the store.
I support both.
I know he comes to our store.
Oh yeah, I know he does.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Adventure Begins, hey, so we're gonna wrap this up by talking about all the hard work that Chaz did with Quarantine Con, because The Adventure Begins did like a side, in addition to QuarantineCon.com, and man, your panels and stuff were awesome. Because I tried to check out a couple on theirs, and it was just like, a person kind of doing AOL looking into their webcam, and yours were like full blown interviews. And Jarek, you did a really good job on those interviews as well. But Miss Jen, did you get to check any of those out this weekend?
Oh man, I feel bad that I didn't get to see them. I want to. Is it like something that's saved somewhere to go watch?
Yeah. They are, yes. If you go to our Facebook page on The Adventure Begins, you can watch all of the interviews and also all the live videos we done for Quarantine Con. You can check them all out there. So it is a great way to. And our YouTube, that's right. So you can always check them out there. It's another way to catch the ones you missed. I know the Rocket Queen one was a really good one. A lot of people love that one. It's a band you might have heard of. Apparently, if you're trying to look for it, it's two T's.
It would be a lot more funny if he did it every once in a while, but he does it every single time.
I kind of have to. So that was a good one. We had just really good, just good interviews in general. And I mean, I think any kind of thanks for this needs to go out to Chaz. I mean, you really did a great job with this. I mean, you did most of the legwork. I was just there to Andy Richter most of the interviews. So I mean, kudos to you, man. It was fantastic.
I appreciate it. What I did was, as soon as we found out about it, it was just like I went high, right? I was like, I messaged like Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman and all the big cats and like Tara Strong for voice acting. I went big time and then trickled down. But the biggest thing was you had a lot of people who committed to it early on that did not get back with you until, at all. Yeah. So a lot of these cats were like, yeah, man, we'll do it. They did it at the last minute, which was totally fine as well. And I'm totally appreciated that they showed up, that they committed to it. We had a good time, man. Yeah. We had a whole bunch of cool cats. You can see the videos live on The Adventure Begins YouTube and our Facebook page. Some of the cats, Jamal Eigel, that cat was so easy to talk to, and he was so cool. And he was our very first interview. So of course I'm like writing down all the questions, and I've got a list of questions. And here's my thought process: I'll ask a question, they answer it, and boom, I have to ask a question again. Not thinking they have a story, because I'm not a reporter, I'm not an interviewer or whatever. But he was so cool, and then talking with him later, he was like, hey, man, anytime you need something, very cool. I had some cats come in that I asked to do it because I was afraid other people wouldn't confirm. One being Chastity Bro, which is a Houston comedian, and then my band, Rocket Queen. I was like, dude, I'm kind of struggling for guests, so would you guys be willing to do a Comic-Con? We've done a Comic-Con before. Here's the Comic-Con shirt from a couple of years ago. But anyway, that was surprisingly, that was the most viewed video of the entire con. So you got this nerd con, and here's Rock and Roll Band, and it surpassed at least over double, to the point where Rocket Queen's talking about doing a show kind of like this in the future.
I think what's cool about that one was, from a personal perspective, is the amount of interaction there was for it. I mean, it's cool seeing people actually respond to what you're doing, asking questions, and it makes those kind of interviews that much more. I don't know, they're entertaining, they're fun. I want to do more of them, and so it was a long weekend for both of us. It was one thing after the next for most of the weekend, but I'm excited to do more of this stuff, and I would love to do more of it.
A lot of these cats have said that anytime you need us, it was a lot of fun. This is one of the coolest interviews we've done. With the Rocket Queen interview, obviously, Mark, he was our moderator. Scott Collins was really cool.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was like, I don't know if, I mean, like, it's probably going to be what everything I expected was knocked out of the park. David DeSmalchin.
Yeah.
That dude, his publicist or whatever, was like, here's the 4 topics. And that was 4 questions, and that was it. But I've been talking to David for like months. So he was like, yo, what's up? So it was more of a friendly conversation. I know Jarek liked Lyle a lot. And we had cosplayers on. We had a whole bunch of stuff. So any of the interviews, man, just check it out. And a lot of these people are wanting to do interviews or whatever we can do to help in future episodes. So whether it's we can interview them here on Nerd News Now, or we'll have snippets of set interviews in the Adventure Begins show on Roku for me and for you, Jonathan. There's so much going on from this convention, and we got a Houston convention that's we can't say anything right now, but it's coming through. So it's going to be another thing that we get to do because
it's funny if anyone had told me, hey, when you move down here and you work at a comic store to be doing like this kind of stuff, I'd be like, okay. And here we are, and it's cool. I don't know. It's a weird opportunity that it just worked out. I think it was just the perfect storm. I know Bill likes to joke that. I mean, how did he get lucky enough to have the two of us? Be his like publicists essentially for stuff. I mean,
I just show up and I just make stupid jokes. That's all.
Yeah.
And we get to do this thing here every Monday night with the Queen of Comics, Jen King herself, and Mark Blair from the Nerd News Now. But this whole weekend was really cool. And if anybody's watching or is going to be watching later, thank you so much for hanging out with us this weekend. And as Acid Tongue says, hey, really good job. Really cool.
Nice.
So we're starting to get comments on this show. I like it. And questions. Cool.
Oh, and just on the quarantine con aspect, it's a really cool idea. I think a lot of people did not know what to expect or what to do once it started. But I was able to fumble my way through and go to Bob McLeod's table and actually get a commission from him. So I got an old school Cyclops from Bob McLeod, who famously drew the original New Mutants, the ones where if they would have made a movie of that New Mutants, we'd be excited about it, right? But it was cool. Like Joe Rubenstein was there, Kane Hodder was there, voice of the Crypt Keeper. It was a very cool concept, cool idea. I think even when we get back up and running, that this kind of interaction is cool. I think it kind of maybe forced our hand to do it this way. Mm-hmm. But on some level, you get it's just an awesome experience. Like the interview Chaz did with David Dashmalson, he starts like digging into his long boxes and showing you like old school horror comics. I mean, that guy is into comics.
Yeah, he was a big nerd or whatever, and it was funny too because you're kind of intimidated with somebody like that, and you're like, well, I have these questions, but they're like, well, they're just going to talk about this. But when he mentions, hey, I have long boxes, well, what's in those? Like everybody wants to know, whatever. He, like I said, him and I, we've been talking for a long time about doing certain things like Nerd News Now and have him come in for a couple minutes or doing The Adventure Begins. But it's those baby steps, and I think he can totally be on he'd totally be down to be on a show like this. But the whole weekend was just really cool, man. Yeah. I dig it. And I have to say real quick, one of the people we interviewed, Lyle Blackburn, he is in a band called Ghoultown, and they've got a free song called Where Voodoo Sleeps right now. Go to ghoultown.bandcamp.com to get your free Where Voodoo Sleeps track. It's only free for like, I think 3 or 4 days as of right now. Yeah. Other than that, you gotta pay for it. But I figured I'd give that out, and because I know he'll be watching, because he said he would be. If not, I'll just share it on his page.
There you go.
Well, and of course, all this stuff is archived on Roku now, and I'm sure the Quarantine Con stuff will be thrown up there as well. But it's definitely on your Facebook page right now.
Yeah.
You guys did like 6, 7, 8 interviews. They're all on there. They're awesome. That's all the time we have for tonight. So, Jarek, Chaz, Miss Jen, thank you. And thank you for watching Nerd News Now. Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Don't die.
Hey, if you want that hat, you got to pay $150. Get the DNA of the extra. Who's in Judge Strett's Demolition Man?
Oh, poor Justin.
That needs to be a Chaz. That is a counter space or just overall tab show skit we need to do. It's like, hey, it was I'm doing it. We're gonna take a whole episode. Let's go for Stallone.
No, I think it's more of a just like no words whatsoever except for dirty and lazy. You're like, like he's like a caveman.
Hey.
You're like, it's $4.95. You use your debit card.
Oh, you hold on a second. The screen will go.
And then he's like, hey, take your car, And it's like, take it to your car. I don't understand. You dirty lazy. You take it in my car, All right, Jen's laughing, so I'm gonna write this real quick.
This is happening. All right. Yeah. Good. That means it's working.
It's like whatever I have left of abdominals after all of this quarantine.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. And then 2 weeks from now, we can go on to the show and be like, you know what? Jen, the queen of comics, she's got a six-pack. You know why? Because she watches The Adventure Begins. And she so, do you want a six-pack like Jen from Space Cadet? Watch her shit, because boom, she's got.
Hey, it wasn't bad as that, hey.
Oh, Mark, your hair is
It'd be
like
funny if you
on
can.
point.
I've got quarantine hair big time.
Yeah, you
That's
do.
Awesome.
Why do you look like Joaquin Phoenix right now? Take that off.
Yes, take the head off. Take the head off again.
Tell me.
Yeah.
No, don't get close. Don't care that right there. Joaquin Phoenix done. No, get away from the
camera.
The further you, No. Lean back, sir.
Lean back a little bit.
No.
Just
be
idiots.
cool. Just be you.
Just be you.
Lean back.
I'm done. This is it.
All the outtakes.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of here.
I don't think he's been recording for 7 minutes, but we'll find out, I guess.
We have to do what?
I said I don't think he's been still recording for 7 minutes, but maybe he has. I don't know.
It says he's recording the call. It says at the top.
Yeah.
No, but we're out though, I think.
Oh.
No, but then again, hold on. No.
Are we still going?
We're still going.
Oh, yes! Yes! Victory!
Because it has it. Again, hold on. No. Are we still going? That's still live. We're still live. What's going on, man? We're still live and kicking because our producer is asleep right now, and because I'm watching the feed, and you just heard my voice real quick doing things. So let's.
I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility. Justin did fall asleep last night.
What happened?
He fell asleep during one of our interviews last night. He forgot to turn the stream off again.
Like, hey, and he was like, I fell asleep. We're like, okay, cool, but how about this? We got some nerd news where Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man number 50, was classified as one of the top 10 underrated Silver Age comics of all time a couple of weeks ago. So first appearance, Kingpin. This week it sold $55,200. Now, we talked about this on our show earlier today, and I was super chuffed because I've got two of those. Now, what sold for $55,000 was a 9.8.
Oh,
I take care of my comic books, so they're probably not a 9.8, but they're not like a 5. They're not a 4.5. So maybe we can get half of that. We can all go on vacation and do like a on location in Barbados or or as Michael Scott would say, let's go to sandals.
That's what's crazy about graded comics is that a lot of people, like, let's say someone was collecting every single Amazing Spider-Man they could that was a premium copy like that, like 9.8. They're going to end up spending 10 to 20 to 30, sometimes 40 times just because it's a 9.8. I'm the type of person, like, I just want the book, so I'll buy a 2.0.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, if you're just collecting to have it and read it, I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're like an actual full-on collector, I mean, you want that high-quality, super well-done, nice copy of it. So it's
on certain books, and I will say this, like, it's one of those things where collecting as a kid, like I have a number 300, and everybody wants a 300.
Oh, well, hey.
When I go, but what I'm saying, like, I go to a con, there's certain books that I have that I'm looking at to see what they're selling for and see what the grade is. Like this last time at the last Houston con, I couldn't tell you which one it was, but like it was like a 2.5, and they're like, oh, it's $500, and I'm like, why? Well, because somebody's gonna want to buy that at the price, and they don't know what the hell they're buying. But I got the last con. I got an X-Men #1 from the 1990s. It was signed by 3 of the artists and writers and all that jazz. It was CGC'd at a 9.3, and they asked X amount of dollars for it. Obviously, at the beginning of the con, it's higher. The last day of the con, they're like, "Yo, let's get this." So I was able. Not even did they knock down the price, but I was able to talk them down even lower. So. No matter what it is, I mean, it's whatever you want to pay for it, and it's whatever they want to sell it for. So, yeah, you have an idea as what people are paying for it, but there could be a $500 comic book out there, but you're like, I want to pay $100 for it. And somebody's like, I need $100. Then it's just like any other collectible.
Gotta haggle, man. It's all about haggling.
No, it's funny. So Justin was like, how you guys want to end this? Like we do every other time. Like we did 10 minutes ago. So he just texted me, we'll end it, and I'll end it. So therefore, man, Mark, end it how you end it.
Or don't.
Now,
there you go. I was trying.
Yeah. Miss Jen, Jarek, Chaz, thank you for being with me, and thank you guys for watching. See you next time on Nerd News Now.